Welcome to Book Thots. We are thoughts for books, and these are our thoughts on books. For the 9th episode, we're reviewing chapters 63.
Who spelled ninth like that? Ninth? It's probably me. For the 9th episode. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
That accent was brilliant. For the 9th episode, we're reviewing chapters 63 through 66 of Onyx Storm, the 3rd book of the Empyrean Series. This is part 9 of our 10-week journey.
I really wanted to correct you and say, when you said that was brilliant, I was like, don't you mean brilliant? Okay. We do have a content warning. Today's episode is about Imogen's chapter. You will cry.
Tissues are needed.
That's the content warning.
That's it. No, today's podcast is rated mature. We are Book Thots after all, so we are going to be using adult language, talking about adult topics, so please pay attention to who may be listening near you. This episode will also contain spoilers for Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. We focus on specific chapters each episode, but our conversation will include the entirety of the series. So if you haven't read them, today's podcast is not for you. Lastly, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Maybe we, but definitely me, will at least mispronounce a name or place. Jenna, will you give the recap and strip down those chapters?
Not gladly, but I will. All right, we're going to start off with chapter 63. Imogen's chapter. We finally get another point of view, and God, is it gut-wrenching. That is pretty much the only thing we can take away from this chapter is gut-wrenching grief. It starts out with probably her mother's last words and ends with the death of her best friend, and possibly her witnessing the beginning of the venening of the man she not so secretly, unless you're Garrick, loves. We also learn that Imogen can make things into stone, so we see her second signet for the first time. I honestly couldn't remember that Imogen had another signet, which is pretty, a big signet in this book, and I don't know why I just, totally forgot about it.
Yeah, sometimes I just forget about it.
Well, I always thought that her mind stuff was her second signet, but then I was like, well, if I think that, what did I think her first signet was?
Yeah.
I kind of think that the turning stuff into stone signet is going to come into play with Theophanie's wording of things that have already had magic repurposed. Like, if she can make things into stone.
That repurposing is interesting. I just loved, like you mentioned, that beginning chapter heading.
Yeah.
Of her mother, basically telling them to fuck off. We'll meet Malik the way we want to, kind of thing. Go down with a fight, girl.
Yeah. And that's obviously, to me, towards Violet's mother.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I thought.
Is it predicting that Violet and Mira will not have a good ending?
I don't know.
I just hope for all of our sakes that we're wrong, and Rebecca wants them all to have happy endings. She just wants to make it the most brutal of a process for us to witness.
So you think that the series is going to end with a happy ending?
I have never thought that until I've decided it now. So you can
Perfect.
hold me to it.
I love it. I love it.
I am hoping now for the best outcome. I refuse to listen to their negativity, and I'm going to say we're going to end on a happy note. Not everyone dies, because I will be upset.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole book ends with an asteroid destroying their Earth because of how negative I've been recently.
Well,
just everybody dies. Which, in a way, would that be a happy ending?
Just it's like when God started everything over, just flood everything and start over. This is all shit. Goodbye.
I need a new canvas.
Why did I get this horrific chapter? I just was sitting there recapping and crying last night. It's just so freaking sad.
I said it earlier. I'll say it again. I was wrong last week when I said Andarna's chapter is the saddest. It is a sad chapter. Well, it wasn't Andarna's chapter, but when Andarna broke the bond between her and Violet. I think that this chapter does take the cake. Rereading it, I was like, this is making me way more sad than even the first and second time I've read it.
It put me in a spiral that I was just sitting there afterwards, the first time reading it, just being like, okay, well, here's the start of it all crumbling. Now doing our recaps, I was thinking back, poor Jenna is the one that has to do this. And I'm just over here, just going to be sitting here in my corner staring at you the whole time, wishing I had tissues next to me.
The good thing that did come from it, though, was seeing Imogen and her dragon. They were counting kills like in Lord of the Rings when
Yes.
Legolas and somebody else have
the
that
dwarf guy.
Yeah.
Is he a dwarf?
Am I wrong about Legolas? Because
I always called him Legolas.
it's him and somebody else having.
It's the guy with the beard.
There's
So he is a
multiple
dwarf.
guys with
Yeah.
a beard. Are you talking about Thor? What's his name with
The
T?
guy with the axe, the dwarf. He wears the Vikings helmet, and they're having a competition.
Oakenshield?
Yeah, that's what. No, yeah. Is
Or-
it Thorn?
What did you just say?
Thorn?
Thorn?
How do you say
Thorin?
it? Oaken.
It's Oakenshield.
Yeah.
Is his last name because it's the oak shield, the tree.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait.
Yeah.
I can't.
Or is it
your
the
mic is
older
in the
guy?
way.
No, figure it out.
Can you do images? I need to see the movie version.
Is it the older one that has like red hair that you're thinking?
Oh yes, him. Yeah,
Here.
it's definitely not him.
Yeah.
No, it's the dwarf. It's the
Yeah. Well, they both are dwarves, but yeah, it's the older one with the red hair. And they have a competition to see who many
Anyway, they have a competition to see who can get the most kills in the final battle, which is the most serious battle. Did you just like look up the whole cast?
Yes, I did.
We're figuring this out. We can't move on.
I can't move on.
It's Gimli.
Gimli.
How did I find that in 1 second?
Gimli, because I went the worst route.
When you were first typing the question, I thought to myself, did she forget what she was doing and she's working on her latest novel? Because it was like,
Stay tuned.
I thought it reminded me of Gimli and Legolas when they're counting in the final battle their kills, because it's obviously a serious fight, but they're still kind of having some fun with it.
All right, so do we think that this is Garrick's Venin send-off?
What do you mean by Venin send-off? Like
Wait,
they
at the-
gave us
at the
some
end of-
insight?
At the end of the chapter, he says,
He says it's still not enough.
yeah, he's like, I don't have enough power. I can't walk anymore. Like, I
Yeah.
need more, and I'm going to go find a way to get more.
And
Like-
the only way to do that
He
is by
actually
channeling
s-
for more power.
He actually says, so I'd better find some fucking way to do something.
I know I'm making arguments for both Bodhi and Garrick being Venin. I know I'm doing that, but it's just because I don't know who it is.
Right before he says that, it says Bodhi is on his hands and knees across the town square, retching.
I'm the biggest fan of Imogen and Garrick, so watching her have to see him at this state of just complete exhaustion, yet they're both mourning Quinn. They kind of rely on each other in that moment, and it's like a moment for us to be like, wow, they do have a love there that they're just not recognizing. But at the same time, I just feel for him because he's now feeling like he's taking it upon himself, whether that's because Bodhi's on the ground, that's what Xaden's on the ground. He's at his wit's end because he has no more power to grab from, and he knows that he can still save people if he can find a way to get help.
I like the idea of Garrick and Xaden being together as Venin and Imogen and Violet having to work together to get both of them back.
I do too.
But
Because
I also,
Bodhi, you don't have that with him. He could be the one that we lose completely, and it'd be a devastating cost, but at the same time, it's not like as heavy weighted as Garrick with Imogen.
yeah, Bodhi I don't not like, but I don't have any attachments to him.
Right.
It would, as a reader, it'd mean way more if Garrick had turned Venin.
And maybe that was done purposefully, because if he is Venin, maybe we only get Xaden back.
It kind of, I mean, she's kind of hinted at Bodhi having a thing for Violet the entire time, too.
You think Bodhi has like a crush on Violet?
She says he's there to protect the province, his cousin, and her.
Yeah, that's what Xaden charged him with.
So you think he has a thing
Kind of.
for her?
Well, that's a fan theory.
Oh,
that didn't even cross my mind.
I like it.
Okay.
Stir the
Well,
pot. Keep
yeah.
going.
Anyway, that is
And
a
the whole series ends with Bodhi and Violet being together.
Mhm.
People would riot in the streets.
No, that ending is not allowed. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
What part of this chapter was to you the saddest? Obviously, Quinn dying, yes, but was there a specific line?
Yeah, probably like Imogen just sitting there.
I see what you're doing.
She's trying to get tears.
I know.
No, I am not.
Invoking
No,
the
I'm not
pain.
trying to get tears. I have one highlighted myself. So I wanted to see if you guys had like the same reaction to the specific line.
Go.
I didn't highlight anything in this chapter because I just could not handle it.
My favorite line in this chapter, and favorite in kind of, I guess, a dark way, the one that I think holds the most emotion, is when she's trying to be positive as her best friend is dying. And she says, she's a little bossy, but she'll be thrilled to have another little sister. I talk about you all the time. They'll know who you are. Don't be scared. And that just gets me.
That was the saddest thing ever, because Imogen obviously dealt with the death of her mother and her sister. And now she's watching her best friend die in her arms. She's like, don't worry. I know people where you're going.
Yeah.
Rough stuff.
That was
Okay.
so sad. I can't believe you had to bring that up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She said she wants us to laugh and cry. Now we've done both. Okay.
No, I want to move on so that my heart can heal.
Well, it doesn't get better.
Chapter 64. Tarn and Sigale are captured. Violet and Tarn are downed with Theophanie and her massive wyvern as company. Violet discovers the missive Sloane and Arik risked their lives to get to her, and after the whole continent, I'm exaggerating, but the whole continent is taken over by shadows, our intelligent heroine finally realizes she holds the key to Theophanie's demise. She also realizes Arik is a precog. Violence uses her man's shadows and kills Theophanie once and for all. Desiccation equals death receipts. Right?
Yes.
Right? Are we sure?
No.
Okay. Oh, and Andarna shows up.
I'm
And that's
mad
it.
at her. I'm
I'm
not
also-
happy she's there. I'm angry.
also
That's fair.
upset.
The only thing that I would have noted retroactively when she says, and it's almost here, I love you, I whisper down the bond and the ice cracks. I think that that's important to note because in his chapter, he talks about how he hears that I love you and it cracks and then it hardens. Like that stays in place.
Yeah.
I have it highlighted, but I think that's going to be very crucial in the next book, that when she said that I love you, when he finally went all the way Venin, that part cemented in his mind.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer. Love is always the answer.
Okay. Do we think that Violet may come to regret killing Theo?
I don't think she'll regret killing her. I think she'll regret not knowing the knowledge that Theo had before
Yeah.
killing her.
I agree with that.
I'm just thinking that because we don't really know who the good and the bad guys are, and Theophanie held off killing Violet for so long, plus was giving her lessons as the fight went on, telling her where to hide to escape desiccation when the ground is drained. Like, she did a bunch of stuff to ensure Violet's survival. So I'm just wondering if Theophanie maybe isn't all bad.
I think she did everything she did for her own gain. She thought she was her own god. That's why she left the temple. She says that's why she left the temple. I don't think she had any positive intent towards Violet. I think she saw her as a tool to get more powerful. And that's just what I think.
Yeah.
Violet will be like, dang, I wish I could have questioned her on X, Y, and Z. But as soon as she killed Marin's parents and sent a tornado and killed, what was it, 20,000, 40,000, I wouldn't regret killing her. But that's just my opinion.
That's fair. I mean, you make really good points.
Yeah. And confirming that Arik is a precognition as his signet is huge, because that's how they were able to even go against what Melgren was predicting. And that's why she sees him flying southwards instead, trying to go find the army, but also handing off that stuff to Sloane.
He's obviously one of the people missing to go get the dragon eggs. I think he brought the dragon eggs to the different isles. I think that's why he's missing and gone.
Okay.
Ooh.
But I just want to
Or
say,
is he the Venin?
I don't think Ark's in it.
Mm.
I think he's seen the end game. I think he's seen the whole picture, or a version of the whole picture that he's either trying to make sure happens or does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I'm pissed off at him because he better have a good freaking reason for why he has not told Violet that he can see the future.
Well, and
Like, he better have the best reason.
I think if anything, he might have told a lot to Xaden
Yeah, no.
for that last chapter of
Yes.
us not knowing a lot of what happened. I think there's more to play with Arik in that scene of events.
Him and Xaden have been working hand in hand together, I feel like, this entire book that we do not know of. We know that Xaden was still keeping, not secrets, but not telling the full information to Violet. There's a couple things that happen throughout the book where she doesn't know about it because he didn't tell her. It's very, very possible that him and Arik were working together the entire time. I think, because I think Xaden has a plan. I think he was preparing for the end of this book, the entire book. So he had a plan for what went down.
I think he inevitably knew that he was going to have to turn Venin. There was no like saving him beyond the point he had already reached. It was just inevitable for him to fully embrace that. And he was trying the whole time to get even Violet to realize that there was no cure and what to expect going forward. It was a sad moment. And I think that's why Gale was just so upset with him throughout the whole thing. I mean, she doesn't talk to him for ever, it feels like, even on purpose, not when they lose their bond, but just on purpose. She's just so angry.
And I'm not entirely convinced that Sigel was not Venin now.
What makes Violet pass out at the end of the chapter? She kills Theophanie.
Yeah.
She releases a bolt of lightning, which then
I thought she was close to burnout.
She
did too, yeah.
She was, but I there's also then Andarna talks to her for the first time and whispers Violet.
Before she passes out.
Yeah. And then she says, and then I hear nothing. So she might be close to burnout, and that's why she passes out. Or she is. She obviously is. Or the bond being reinstated with Andarna. If that's what we're seeing, if it was broken or whatever.
Yeah.
Or then
her arm is broken.
Yeah, her arm is broken, so it could just
and
be
she had to use that to stab her. She
Okay.
had to use her broken arm.
Yeah, it could be from pain or from burnout, or I wouldn't necessarily have thought with Andarna coming back that would have triggered it. It could have, but I don't feel like the bond completely was severed. I could be wrong. I think Andarna tried to prove to Leothan that she could break communication and it feel like she's severed that full bond until Andarna is willing to open it back up to her. I don't think the actual bond was broken. I just think a big piece of her was missing because the communication was gone and she felt like that tether to her was gone in the same way.
I personally think the bond was completely broken.
Do you?
Well, Violet's reaction. She almost dies and has to choose to live.
But then she can still dream.
Right, but you made a good point. Who's to say Andarna wasn't back when that happened?
It's true.
That would be interesting, especially since we don't even know how long the Irids possibly were following them when they were searching for him.
I don't even know what year it is right now in this chapter.
That's fair.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I remembered what I thought the other thing that made her pass out could possibly be, and it has to do with like Dune. Dune is the most wrathful, and once you choose her, you can't go back and all of that. So Violet using the stone dagger to kill one of Dune's previous priestesses, does that mean she's chosen some path and that's what causes her to pass out?
I personally, because I see her next question is, when is she going to finally choose her path?
Yeah.
We're running out of books.
Yeah.
I personally think she will not choose her path until Xaden is completely out of the picture. She does say that every possible path to a cure, but she never considered Xaden's choice being a part of the equation.
True.
Which is odd.
Yeah. What did you think could happen?
What the fuck is him?
Yeah.
It's his path, not yours. You don't get to choose stuff for other people.
I don't even know what the different path options are.
We don't. We don't know anything. We've established that several times.
I'm telling you, it's our new slogan.
We don't know anything.
Chapter 65, Xaden's chapter. We learn the connection between Asim and Initiate and Sage really is no joke. Xaden apparently is incapable of killing Berwyn. The new sibling, brother, Venin, whatever you want to call him, along with the unconscious dragon, is being guarded by 7 Wyvern. Xaden feels the only way he can save everyone, including Sigale, is to channel, especially after watching Berwyn desiccate Pancheck's dragon, who was caught in a net, but not before Pancheck gets... What did I type? Gets cocky. Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay. It's just, my notes just say cock. I forgot the Y.
No, it says Pancheck gets cock.
Okay. Who he desiccates Pancheck's dragon, who was caught in a net, but not before Pancheck gets cocky and says he's the only one who can give Berwin access to his son. To which Berwin answers, I have another. Unfortunately, we don't learn if Pancheck channels to save his worthless life or dies. We end with Segale saying Tarn will decide Xaden and her's fate.
I think Pancheck is dead. Because I think when it talks on in the next chapter about who's missing and that some leadership is dead, I think it is Pancheck.
Okay.
I do too.
Personally.
Well, I at least was hoping it was Pancheck.
Yeah, I hope I obviously hope he's dead too.
And you asked if we had anything else in the last chapter. I just realized I had noted that Theophanie, when she's about to die, she sees Andarna and she goes, Irid, Theophanie. Oh, no, it would be.
With reverence.
Yes, with reverence, which is interesting because I just Googled what reverence means. And it's deep respect for someone or something. That's a weird reaction to have.
Well, she's always been like, you have the Irid. I want the Irid. Where's the Irid? I need to see the Irid. Like, she's almost as obsessed as Kaori.
Yes.
You know?
More than, I would say.
Yeah.
But
So,
if you're about to die, or in this moment, I feel like she knows she's about to die. That's just a weird reaction to have. There's more to that.
And to your first question, did you read it as like actual two sons, or were you thinking like the same in instance of him having like students, like that being
No.
Jack and now Xaden?
no, I read the sons as his biological children.
Okay.
And that's why I think it might be Xaden's daddy, and it's him and
Ben Ryerson?
it's Xaden and Bodhi are
And
the two
Bodhi-
sons.
Bodhi
Because they
isn't
were
his
raised
cousin.
together.
But Bodhi could not be his cousin. They could have been lying.
They could have.
Bodhi could be another one of. He could be a real Ryerson.
But they were raised as brothers, is basically what it says. So, like, in a sense, yeah, he could still call him son.
I don't know. There's so much weird wording because it says the bond between Berwin and me is the kind that should never exist. And now that my sage has another sibling he can use against me, I'm screwed.
Yeah. Everything is very odd, especially because now that he's Venin, he's not supposed to have emotions, but he still like cares about and is going to do whatever the sage says to save this new sibling, apparently. And I don't know.
It says, put those away. We both know you're not going to hurt me. Pancheck reaches for the net over his dragon. I'm the only one who can give you access to your son.
Then he goes, yeah, I got another one, and just desiccates the dragon. And
Yeah.
then Xaden like freaks out because he's like, he just desiccated that dragon with a dagger. He's like, that shouldn't be possible, which is weird because he's just the sage, so he shouldn't have a ton of power.
But didn't we learn that riders can't live without their dragons?
Oh yeah,
So if we think that dragon was...
I said, does Pancheck channel
Yeah, 'cause
right then
Jack-
to save his life?
Jack
okay.
lived with his dragon dying.
That's
so
true.
the only way Pancheck lives is if he channels.
Or are they not really killing them? That's how they are getting the wyvern, a.k.a. the Venin dragons.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
They're just
shit.
like transferring.
They sprinkle the dust over a rune.
They're like, here, Malik, here's our offering, but really instead we're getting this.
And it takes a long time to make
Yeah.
the
A
wyvern.
wyvern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theophany was pissed about that.
Okay, so my first question was the sage has two sons. Which characters have been introduced with two sons? The single character I can think of that only has two sons is the king, Tari.
With Arik and...
Yeah, he did have
Halden.
3. He's already lost 1.
True.
That's the only person I can think of. But it doesn't really make sense because Violet and Xaden would both recognize Tari.
And
Right?
Yeah, because 100%. Now I'm thinking the two sons have to be Jack and Xaden because Pancheck no one knew that he turned bad. That was there, like that were on the good side.
So you
good
think
side.
it's not biological sons?
Well, now I'm starting to think that it's just talking about Jack being captured. We do know Jack was Berwin's whatever.
Prodigy?
Prodigy. And now he officially has Xaden. So maybe that's what Pancheck thought would keep him alive.
The wording is just so...
It's hard to dissect.
It is so purposefully loose that I can't decide who is being talked about in any point of this chapter at all. And it's very frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Why is the dragon mentioned like it doesn't belong to the unconscious writer or brother? Well, and it doesn't even say that the writer is unconscious. It says the dragon's unconscious. It says the unconscious dragon.
They note just the dragon in that one.
And it doesn't say that it's the person next to it. It doesn't call it.
The one he stabs?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
No.
Which one?
Xaden is saying he like looks down in the valley or whatever, and there's his new brother and the downed or the unconscious dragon. And they're being guarded by 7 wyvern.
And that's not the same dragon that Pancheck kills. Or not Pancheck. Berwin.
No, I think that they're, for some reason, I picture like they're on like this elevated cliff area.
Yeah.
And it's him, Berwin, Pancheck, Sagel Bagel, and Pancheck's dragon. And those dragons are both downed in nets. And the Berwin kills the dragon. Pancheck's there doing whatever Pancheck is doing. Then Berwin starts walking close to Sagel, saying, you're about to watch your dragon die too. What are you going to do, boy? And so then...
I do think that that's a big part in Xaden defining Berwin and stopping him from killing Sagel, because earlier when they first meet Theo and she's about to slit Mira's throat, it talks about Xaden's shadows. He like releases them, but they head south towards where we assume Berwin is at. And it's almost like they're answering to him, like they want to go towards Berwin. So I always wanted to know, how much control does Berwin have over Xaden? Xaden can't kill him. Are they connected like lifelines, and that's why he can't kill him?
Oh, like a bond.
Like a bond.
Oh my God, like a dragon bond.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because then
I never thought of that.
that's why maybe Berwin can control them.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes. Ouch. Yes.
Yes.
That's it.
Take me to church, amen.
Oh my gosh. She solved it. The case is solved.
We don't need a third or fourth and fifth
We
book.
already know
We
it.
already know what happened.
We know
Yeah.
everything now.
Emily's written it. It's fine.
But if they, I would do some fan theory there. If they kill Berwin now, is the little trickle of love that Violet sends Xaden gonna be the thing that can ground him and keep his soul? Because you know, Adriana really loves the idea that love is the answer. So this is what I just mentioned in the previous chapter, but now it's from Xaden's point of view, where it says, "I love you." Violet's voice cracks the cold, and a silken thread of warmth wedges itself in the opening before it seals shut, locking it into place.
But that's another mention of that thread, and she uses those threads as like their bond. Like his is like the shadow threads, hers is that silken one for their love. It has to have a meaning of grounding him. It has to be something that he can keep stuck with him as he turns. Like that's the only thing that stayed, and maybe that's why he has still some humanity left in him or some type of feeling. I don't know. I think it's
I think
hard.
he's like basically 99.9% bad, but that 0.01 could be what saves him.
I mean, Theophanie could just be bullshitting Violet too when she says that they don't keep their love, because we've already been given instances in the chapter deals.
The excerpts
At the beginning of the chapters where the Venin spares her husband. We did see that. So there can still be a bond link there. You definitely see Xaden war with himself like that, because he's like, oh, that's good. Wait, that's bad. Oh, fuck, whose side am I even on now? Like, he's confused.
before he turns completely, he even is constantly saying that he's only coming back for her. And it's not just like in this war, I think it has a bigger meaning to it in that sense. Like, the only way I'm coming back is for you. You are the reason.
Well, I mean, and when they're about to go into this battle and Brennan's trying to figure out the plan, he's like, Violet, you want to save everyone. And Xaden, you'll destroy everyone to save Violet.
Exactly.
And we were talking about balance last episode and how they have 0 balance. But actually, I mean, if you do the math there, that is kind of balance, at least between them two.
Yeah, because
I think they are balanced.
chaotic balance.
Yes.
Very chaotic, but I do think
Toxic.
that's what it's trying to like show constantly is that
It's toxic and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
don't we all?
Something about it. Oh, I just love it.
Should we play Britney Spears' Toxic song right now? I can't remember it.
Why do I think of even though it has nothing to do with brainwashing, but I think of spoiler Hunger Games.
Don't you dare spoil
I'm not going to
that
say
for
anything.
her.
I'm not going to say who,
Okay.
what, when, how, where.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of that scenario of brainwashing in a character or being done, and you're still picking those pieces of what's still remaining as like a trigger, as a memory, as a trying to pull them through and be like, you still have humanity. There's still a piece of you in there. Remember,
Yes.
I can get you back, or you can understand what's right, what's wrong, what's real, what's not.
The end of this chapter is the reason why I think, well, the end of this chapter and obviously one quote from the next is why I think Sigil is either Venin or has the permission to stay with Xaden and not be Venin, because it alludes that the decision is up to Terran.
Yeah.
And I think the choice that has to be made is the only way that Xaden can go fight from the inside out within the Venin is to have Sigil with him. And the only way that she can be with him is if she is no longer bonded to Terran.
I think, if anything, Andarna severed that bond.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I think Sigil, though, said, I know the plan, you know the plan.
Yeah.
But I will not do it unless my mate is okay with the idea of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I don't think Andarna would have severed that bond if Terran didn't say agree yes to. I just don't think so.
So do you think that like leads into Imogen wiping both of their if we even have Xaden's memories wiped, or maybe he's just going in not knowing, I don't know, but Violet for sure has memories wiped. Do you think that Terran and Sigil are the only ones who truly know the real plan outside of Imogen?
I think Andarna, Terran, Sigil, and Xaden, and maybe Arik.
Okay.
And Imogen. Yeah, you said outside of Imogen.
Yeah.
I really think. What did I highlight?
I feel like I'm on the outside looking in. Help me.
Why?
Where do you get your? Where does it say that Andarna severs the bond?
It
No,
doesn't.
we just
but
think.
when
No, I know it doesn't.
Oh.
I'm just where's it coming from?
Oh.
why do I think that?
Yeah.
Because when Violet is trying to like piece together everything, the first person she turns to is Terran, but he's in a sleep recovery, and instead of him responding, Andarna says he needs a cycle of rest to recover.
Yeah.
I highlighted that because I think she's answering that because she's the one that did it. She is the person that could do it, and so she knows how long it will take to recover from it.
And
Just
isn't
like-
that what she did to Violet?
Yeah, and Violet
Yeah.
had slept for like 3 days, or basically was
Yeah.
comatose for 3 or 4 days.
She had a Bella
you guys are making me depressed.
Swan
Well,
moment.
Let's not forget that one of my theories is that Imogen erased the fact that Violet actually killed Xaden, so this whole next book we think he's alive, but he's actually
No!
dead.
not.
That
Oh,
can't.
man.
That cannot happen.
It would
Okay.
be great writing, though. Like, I don't want that to happen, but it would be awesome writing. You give your readers hope for this whole 4th book, and you just think that Xaden's off lollygagging with the Venin, but really, he's just
I want to read your first draft.
That could
my first draft. Rebecca,
Yeah.
just sit this one out. I'll write the next 2. I'm just kidding, obviously.
All right.
Sorry, we're moving on. Continue.
Well, I was gonna say who loves Sigil even more because of how she's obviously taking Xaden, even though she's mated to Tarn. She's like, "I'll be with you." When his mom chose to go for herself, you have Sigil choosing whatever path Xaden is going to go on. She's going to go with him.
Why-
She's like, even if it means death for me,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Sigil and Terran are both choosing their riders over Dragonkind.
I was just about to say that. Why is it so significant that those two can break even the laws of their own dragon kind just for Xaden and Violet, outside of knowing that they are bonded to each other's dragons?
Who wrote the laws? Who's binding them to these laws? Are these laws the same laws that are kind of written like the people who said Venin don't exist, so you abide by a certain set of rules and then realize it's shit?
All right. Are we ready for chapter 66?
Yeah.
All right. What I'm going to say first is please Please don't make me summarize this.
You got it.
We have faith in you, but I do feel for you. I feel for you throughout this whole like ending segment because these are some hard chapters.
Andarna's back. Obviously, everybody knows our zaddy boy is on the dark side now, and Violet is going to have to worry about forfeiting her life to gain his death. 4 riders, their dragons, along with 3 elders, have been added to the death toll within the last few hours. And 4 riders are missing. Garrick is among the missing. It also seems Andarna is staying hidden and Tarn is in sleep recovery? From what? Oh, and P.S., there's 6 dragon eggs missing. Also, Xaden and Violet are married. She's got a rock from the blade of Aracia right there on her fingy. Violet has no memory of the last 12 hours because apparently she's asked Imogen to wipe it all.
Yep.
Summed it up
That's
pretty
how
good.
we're gonna leave it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there to say?
I don't know. Just rage maybe from me as a reader.
I think we all have like hit on points of what we think Taryn's sleep recovery indicates. I think Garrick being listed among the missing, but yet we still know 4 riders and their dragons have died. We only know about Quinn officially, right?
But okay, so my question about that is if they're not counting the battle deaths. Has this happened in the last 12 hours since Violet has been missing? There's been more deaths.
What does it specifically say? They obviously blame Violet for some of it too because they want to set her on fire.
They want to kill her because they know Xaden is Venin and they know killing Violet kills Xaden.
Official numbers are 4 riders, their dragons, and 3 elders murdered in the valley in what we're estimating is the last few hours.
So like this has
In the
happened.
valley.
This happens after the battle is complete.
Well, it says murdered too, which makes me
I
think
know.
that none of these people died in the battle.
Yeah,
That's because a death toll you wouldn't say murdered in a battle. I don't think you would ever use the phrase murdered.
No,
What would you use?
this is like
Died.
inside fighting
Okay.
that we're noting.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay. I was just taking it as like it's been 12 hours and now they've gone out and counted all of the deaths.
No, because even like Imogen says there's so many dead dragons. Like this cannot be part of the battle death toll. This is something separate that they're dealing with now. And it's in Aracia.
Did Violet channel and that's why they wiped her memory? And she
know.
killed them before she wiped her memory?
So for my questions, the first one is the limit does not exist.
Fair.
There's just all the questions.
Who are all the 4 riders we think? So either Bodhi or Garrick. Xaden's definitely one of them. Auric.
I don't know if Xaden's counted among the missing because they know he's Venin. So I don't think that they would count him as missing.
I think so, because then he goes on to say, but after that display, we all know Rorson did this. I bet the other 3 are already dead. So he's part of the 4. They say 5, and then they see Violet, and then they say 4. And so then they say, but after that display, we all know Ryorson did this. I bet the other 3 are already dead.
Okay,
So
there you go.
We have 3 that we don't know who they are. I'm going to assume one is Auric, and then Garrick is one of them. At least it says Garrick is missing.
Auric should
And
be back
Bodhi?
with the army, though, because it's definitely been an hour and a half.
I think that Auric is who stole the dragon eggs
I do too.
to take them to wherever he is taking them. Did What's-Her-Face ask for 6 dragon eggs?
Oh my gosh.
Well, no. So he went to get the he went to get the troops from Xenial.
Yep.
Or Xenal.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want dragon eggs. They've already said they'll fight.
Right.
So he went to grab them.
Yeah.
And then he was coming back with them. You think
he already came back because she sees his dragon. So he's already there. Was
so
there
he's
before.
not missing.
Do you
is what
think
I'm saying.
anybody else
No, I
can
think
walk?
he is missing. I think he came back, brought who he needed to, knew he foresaw that he needed to bring those dragon eggs to who he needed to. So I think that Auric is one of the missing because he's the one that has the foresight to know it is worth bringing these 6 dragon eggs to where they need to go.
But if Garrick is among the missing and he possibly has turned Venin, we could have a balance on the other scale. Who could be the other walker that
Or-
could travel there and back as quickly?
Or Garrick isn't Venin, but he's stolen the 6 dragon eggs because he's
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fucking do something. That was what his words were.
To
And
Imogen,
so
yeah.
I'm going to steal the dragon eggs. I'm going to do the hard thing. And I'm going to go get the other
It
army.
very well could still be that's why he's missing. He might not even be with Xaden.
I just think it'd be easier for Auric to take the dragon eggs. I
Garrick's
feel
a
like the
walker.
dragons had to have said something like, you can take them. Like, give me a good reason why you would take them.
Auric would be the only answer as to he knows how to, I guess, not negotiate at the end of this battle, but basically have everybody in their...
But Garrick's been there. But Garrick's been on the trips, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
he knows everything that they've said that they wanted. And he's a distance traveler. So it makes sense for him to go grab the eggs, distance travel, give them away.
But
And it makes sense that Bodhi is the only one spotted with Xaden. She's feverishly typing.
because Garrick wasn't there when the Queen of Dune asked for the dragon's eggs. He wasn't there at the dinner. I mean,
only
Auric
Auric was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, Auric is the one that understands. I mean, obviously, they told everybody what they asked for. So it's still possible it's Garrick. I just have a gut feeling that it's Auric who's taking the dragon eggs.
It would just make sense since he's the one who can, like, even when he's sitting there kind of like sizing people up and trying to diplomatically kind of understand how to present things in a way that saves the relationships, helps them out. Like, it makes sense that with his precog, he could actually figure out what the best solution was. And in order to turn the tides of this war and realize that he's lost Xaden and possibly Violet for this, he could possibly have gone ahead and made those negotiations on his own with the dragon eggs.
He also takes 6, and the Queen of Dune asked for 12.
I thought she asked for 12 or 14, yeah.
12, one from each den, which
Okay.
technically would be 14,
Yeah.
but she was only talking about the 6 in the veil. We also aren't considering the idea that the Venin just stole 6 dragon eggs.
There is in-house fighting, though, that we're
Yeah.
seeing. So it could be, I don't know. Ugh, it could be.
What a mess.
My next question was, are the other Irids coming?
I hope not. I hope their little island burns down and the water dragons eat them.
Okay.
Okay, I don't mean that. There's probably some good ones in there, but I don't know. Why is Andarna there?
I don't know.
That probably goes back more to that. Why is Andarna there?
I'm sure she didn't leave on good terms.
Nope. So I would have to say, you know what? Actually, no, I do not think the Irids are coming. The Irids.
Was Imogen with Violet? Because the guy reporting to Brennan doesn't say 3 missing now. So Imogen wasn't with Violet the whole time, which I kind of assumed she was, and she knew the truth. But she doesn't know the truth. Violet got back and then was like, wipe my memory.
Are you sure? I thought her and Xaden were in on it.
She
some
wouldn't.
degree.
She would have been counted among the missing, and she's not.
That's a very good
Okay.
point. That
So
is
she,
I guess I didn't
she
catch
doesn't
that.
know.
Hmm.
Possibly she doesn't know what happened. She just wiped the memory.
Well, when she wipes people's memories, does she see them?
I don't know. I don't know. She's not Dane. Dane learns them. She just wipes them, from what I understand. But that's very little. Since when are there elders with the human group? Like, that's never been brought up before, and now they're mentioned in the killings.
I just assumed that was the professors when I read it. Like, I didn't even think about it.
I don't know.
Don't the dragons have elders?
Yeah, they do.
So maybe talking about dragons.
Maybe it is dragons. Maybe the dragons showed up.
What?
Like the Empyrean ones.
Yeah, when they go to have the meetings with the Empyrean, that's the only time elders is ever used.
Literally the only time. There's no human elders. We don't know about human elders.
Does Irids have elders?
I would
Because Andarna
assume-
could have brought some with her if they were willing to leave and fight
Yeah, elders is literally only used.
for the dragons.
So did Xaden kill him with his shadows?
It is also used for Venin.
Which would be Theophany as one. Because she's a maven.
Yeah, but she says she's old, but she says there are few older. But
It's
doesn't-
only used one time for the Venin. It's used 7 times for the dragons in this book.
okay. So elders, I'm just gonna kind of assume that they're dragons.
So 3 of the elders are dead, which means nothing to us because we haven't met a single one of them.
All right.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
She did this on purpose.
Why? That's what pisses me off the most. Okay. Why is Violet not freaking out about Andarna being back? My dragon left me, broke my bond, almost killed me, and now she's back, but I'm just gonna like totally accept it as completely normal. Nothing happened.
Well, she also says earlier in the book that she's always looking for Andarna.
Yeah.
And she's like, will I ever stop doing this? And he's like, this is my first rodeo too. So
Yeah, true. It's just that the fact that when she does get her, she has no internal monologue like, oh, Andarna, I love you. Like, I'm so glad you're back.
Well,
Nothing.
when she sees her, that's when she passes out. And then when she wakes up, she thinks the only thing that has happened is that she passed out. So I don't know if we've had time to even have an internal monologue.
Okay, more reasons for me to be upset.
Add it to the list.
All
And
right.
Darna's grounded.
Why is Xaden saying don't look for me? Why are we going through this? This stupid fucking like, I'm going to protect you, don't look for me. That's what is he just saying it the missive for the others? Or is it really for Violet, don't look for me?
I think it's don't look for me because we worked out a plan and you looking for me will go against that plan, period.
Well,
He's going to infiltrate
brings
the
us-
Venin.
That's what I think from the inside out.
Yeah.
That brings us to our next question when I said, what is the fecking plan here? What is the plan?
We don't know the plan, Jenna.
We can hypothesize the plan. We have not been part of the planning. Maybe Brennan, Xaden, and Auric have all been working together and they've come up with a perfect plan.
Our memories have now been wiped.
It feels like that. You're melting. You're falling apart. You're not going to get answers. You're only going to get questions.
More questions. Yep.
Yeah.
We're official. Like this is the end of it, right? So there's nowhere to go but down from here.
Okay, but why do I like Brennan more at the end of the book?
You do like Brennan more at the end of the book.
Yeah.
And if I was being honest, I have no clue why you like Brennan more at the end of the book. Because I do. Makes sense for me. But you hated him 2 episodes ago.
You hated him too, though.
Okay, but think about it.
Most
from-
of this book, though.
This is
Yeah.
just not even a reader's perspective. This is just me personally.
Mm-hmm.
When I've lost my brother.
Right.
And then in this book, a brother pretends to die.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's where my hatred stems. I can't get over that, and I still can't get over that. But I do think that maybe Brennan isn't actually super bad.
just a little bad.
Just an asshole.
I think also we might be some grudge holders because we are holding one decision over his head when he hasn't, in my opinion, in recent memory, he hasn't made a single decision since then other than maybe being cruel to his mother that would make us hate him. Has he
Yeah.
done anything negative other than lying to his sisters about his death?
No, I think that was the biggest move because of the rebellion he was fighting for.
Is that's literally it? That's why I hate him?
Yeah.
You still anticipate his
Betrayal.
betrayal. Thank you.
He's also pretty hypocritical when it comes to saying that his mom did all of this and hid everything, and then he's literally doing the same thing to his sisters, just in a different way. We didn't like that either.
Listen, all those 3 siblings can be upset about that, but they're also withholding information from each other too. So you guys are not communicating here either.
It's a circle of non-truths.
I still think there might be a reason that Violet's dad said only trust Mira instead of Brennan. But at this point, I think when he wrote that note, Brennan had already died.
Yeah,
so
he
that
had.
might be why
He didn't know Brennan was alive. That's what I keep coming back to, too, is like, well, why did the dad say only Mira? But then I'm like, well, he might have thought Brennan was dead.
Because Lilith makes it sound like losing Brennan,
Killed the dad.
like,
Yeah,
it was
they
the
said his heart
catalyst
gives
in a
out.
sense of Asher actually like dying. So, which I don't believe he died of a heart attack, but I think that's just written to protect him.
Asher Daxton Sorengale.
is still alive, and he's the Papa Venin now. This is what I wanted to talk about. In book 1, it does talk about the mating bond between dragons. It mentions it in one of the excerpts. There is no stronger bond than that between 2 mated dragons. It goes beyond the depth of human love or adoration to a primal, undeniable requirement for proximity. One cannot survive without the other. Yeah,
Who
so
says
their
it?
bond is severed.
Who says
Yeah, I think you need to include that.
Said by Kaori.
In his field guide.
Mm-hmm.
Field guide to Dragonkind.
Have you read it? No, we haven't because we don't have access to it.
No. All of that has been kept from us. Okay, but that's cool.
Do we just go cry now or?
Yes, I need a drink. Now let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Next week, we will be having the finale. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Tune in every Friday wherever you get your podcasts for a new episode of
Book Thots! We're beautiful.